Hello everybody, and myself and Cobweb would like to welcome you back to another edition of Tarot and Tea with myself, Laura D, and Cobby as well. Apparently he's taken over these videos as well. So welcome back. I hope you're all well. I hope you can see my face above the cat's face, but it doesn't matter, I don't have to see my face. My face is irrelevant compared to kitty faces. So in this episode of Tarot and Tea, we're going to be looking at the Magician. We're looking at the Major Arcana. We're going through the Major Arcana cards this time, and as I mentioned in the last one, which is about the Fool, which is probably the best one to start out with if you haven't seen that one already, is a really brief videos about these cards, because we could go on for a day about the meanings of one Major Arcana card, and you know what, I doubt we touched the full surface of it. So these are an introduction, and if you'd like to learn more about the tarot, then you can, if you feel inclined and you would like to, begin training with me, learning one-to-one, face-to-face, or in a group with some email courses which are coming soon, as well as face-to-face courses next year. So we have lots of things in the pipeline for 2016. So I hope you enjoy these little tasters of the tarot and working with the Major Arcana. We're working with, as I said before, the Magician today, number one. I'll just put my tea down a sec, have a good old slurp, and then put this down. Here we are. I'm using the Thoth deck mainly, though I'm going to compare with other decks as well as normal. So in this deck it's called the Magus, and we have number one. We went with the Fool last week, which was 0, the open space, no beginning, no ending, and then we've defined it with a 1. I am. So the first thing we have there is I, an awareness of self, where the Fool does not have an awareness of self really, which is a charming thing about the Fool, yet probably not that useful when you're living in day-to-day life. And the I of the Magician is quite an I indeed. Here I am the Magician, or the Magus. Now, there's so much to say, but the key words of the Magician we have is dexterity, communication, manifestation, magic, using skills, using your skills and abilities. It's an initiative energy. The Magician takes or channels the energy from the divine, from the cosmos, however you choose to see it, channels that energy and is creative with it, is a force of action, of communication. The planetary correspondence with the Magician is Mercury, which is a lot about this card as well. Mercury is the changeable substance, isn't it? And it's often represented with short-term travel and being near to us and moving around quite fast, the planet I mean, and fast communication, speedy energy like Facebooking and back and forth communication. Obviously Mercury's been around a lot longer than Facebook, but you get what I mean. Mercury is wise, and he's wise through humour. So he's wise, and he can be the trickster. And we have this element running through all of the Magician energy, is that we have cleverness. I'm not sure if it's wisdom yet, actually. We could say it could be used for wisdom, but the Magician probably doesn't represent wisdom as such as yet, because it's like the child that's been given the new skills. It's the graduate coming out of uni or college going, I can do this. But more epic really, because in his juggling, and juggling is an important aspect we're going to look at in a bit, in his juggling pose here, he has the elemental suit symbols of the pentacle, the coin, the disc as it is in this one, the sword, the wand, or the fire there. Sorry, the fire is there representing the wand. And then he has the 4, but then he also has the staff there, and he has an egg with wings. A big theme you're going to see quite a lot in the tarot is eggs with wings. So that could be a symbol we might actually do a video about, talking about that symbol. But the staff, the rebirth, the energy there we can think about, and the staff is the achievement of mastering those skills. But he's juggling them. And also, he has feet with wings. So again, a lot like Mercury and Hermes. Now Hermes is the Greek version of Mercury, predating Mercury. And Hermes is he is a god of wisdom. He's also the trickster. He's very wise, he's very clever, but he has that link with Mercury. He's also the trickster. And then the ancient Greeks also were enamoured by Thoth, who was the ancient Egyptian wise, potentially sometimes trickster god. And this deck is called the Thoth deck. There is a theory that, we've got Hermetica, that Hermes and Thoth are the deities of the tarot itself. And being this a Thoth deck, he is this one. And one of his forms, Thoth's forms, is of a baboon, or a man with a baboon's head. And if you can see there, we have the baboon head, or the baboon, going, "Ooh, you pesky kids," at at the magician who's gone off. So it's, you know, it's like he's shaking his fist. He could be like going, "Yeah, do it, mate." But it feels a little bit like he's shaking his fist at him. "You've taken my power." Or there's a sense here of using power that's maybe not yours. But there's a lot, I mean, for this deck, if this card alone, we'll be here for a long time looking at all the different symbols. The colours, look at this, the colours are very, so Mercury rules Gemini, so I think this is a very, even though it's not the card of Gemini, the Lovers is the card of Gemini, but Mercury rules Gemini, and I think the colours I associate a lot with Gemini are blues and yellows. And we have blues and yellows here. So we have the yellow, the golden shining yellow coming from the magician, yellow being the solar plexus chakra, and that representing confidence in the great I am, and blue is communication. So in a real basic way, we can have communicating with confidence. This is about, I've learned a skill, go out there, and this is a great card to have if you're going out for interviews, trying for work, you're just coming out of college, or you're just retraining and wanting to get out there. If you're learning a new skill, this is a really wonderful card that's saying that, you know, it's all going really exciting. It's a very energetically positive, moving, creative card. We're going to look at a couple of other cards as well of the magician. I do somewhere have a really old tarot deck with some really old imagery, the old school magician, because, going to give my tea, the magician hasn't always been seen as this magician, which is very much you know, Golden Dawn kind of time, if not a bit before, where the magician became the magus, became the powerful. The energy of the magician nowadays is a lot more about, and can be in the tarot, a lot about channeling divine energy and doing something with it, using your will to do something with it. And again, the positive or negative is, what are you going to do with that energy? Is it going to be great? Is it going to be not so great? But in the older tarot decks, I think the favourite I've got is here. I've got the Tarot Wisdom by Rachel Pollock. It's a really good book to look at. It's in the Court de Gebelin deck in 1773, quite a long time ago, obviously. And the name for the magician is the Thimble Rigger. Amazing. Oh, the Thimble Rigger. And the juggler and the trickster and the thimble rigger was quite was the thought about the magician back in those days. So we have much more like your street magician who is doing a little bit of magic, maybe tricking you out of a few pounds, or tricking you in some way, which can be for entertainment and can be like, oh, that's fun, or it could be a little bit more sinister that they're tricking you. So the thimble rigger gives the idea that he's rigging his tricks, doesn't it? That he's not doing it out of pure skill. He's got a skill for tricking you. And the juggler, obviously, this is maintained. I like that about the Thoth deck, is they've maintained the energy of the juggler. They've maintained the energy of the playful trickster element with the more high magic end of things. So I'm drifting off into a different area, but I'll go back to the juggler and the energy of the trickster. That's another aspect you can see when you're reading the cards. You may see this energy, this person as, ooh, your intuition saying they're being pulled the wool over their eyes. They are being tricked. There's someone out there who's having a laugh, but he's not really being honest. So that is another shadow aspect of working with the magician. But what I love about the tarot, and particularly the Major Arcana, is it has the divine meanings and the everyday, more dirty meanings all in one image. And that's the beauty of the tarot. It works with the divine elements. So this one, the divine, we've got Thoth here, we've got Hermes, or those energies of channeling divine energy and manifesting, creating life, creating something. In that bliss, I think in this card, and also in the Tarot of the Cat People, which is here, his eyes are glowing, and they are a little bit in this one as well. And I feel that's kind of your eyes just in this amazing daze of what you're doing. The magic is flowing through you. You're in this amazing daze. And this deck is kind of, in this one he's the objects are being levitated, and above his head we have the more traditional infinity symbol, which is symbolised by the snakes in this one, but traditionally with the magician, especially in older decks, we'd have the infinity symbol over his head, and even the really old decks, they're hinted at by the hats that the magician wore was infinity. So you're working with the energy of infinity with the magician, or channeling infinity. So the next card I want to have a quick look at with the magician is the Druidcraft Tarot. I like this, love this deck, and I like this depiction of a magician at sunrise at Stonehenge. In that's a traditional magician pose, and I think in this deck he's doing a little bit this one, and I'm looking at this one in a minute as well. In the Animals Divine Tarot he's doing that as well. The raven is up, arms up in the air. There's one arm up, as above so below, and there's one arm pointing down. So he's literally like an in-between of the divine and the earth. He is the channel between those two things, for want of a much better word, things. And again, the pose, let's all do it together. Just imagine you listen to the Bee Gees. It's opening. It's a pose of confidence, isn't it? It's not like, I don't want to be seen today. It's like, I am. And the magician is, I am. And he is. He's doing it. So there he's holding the wand, but he's got the wand, the pentacle, the sword, and the cup on the altar, the stone altar there, the elements of the rest of the tarot. He's in Stonehenge, which in itself is epic. I adore Stonehenge. And he's doing a ritual. He's invoking something. He's channeling the energies of the gods, the energies of the divine, down to his altar to create, to manifest something. And there's a very electrical energy in this. It's like you feel you're there, you feel the feathers in his cloak moving, you see he's looking at the sky. You know, it's a powerful image. He's got some symbols of above and below on him as well. And what I like also is that the cockerel in the background. Now the cockerel, of course, can represent awakenings, the new dawn, the new beginning. So the thing about the magician is he's bringing in the new, he's creating something. It's a new dawn, a new beginning. That's amazing. But I also think with this is someone's blowing their own trumpet a bit. They can be a little bit cocky, they can be a bit like the cockerel. Look at me, look at me. Again, we have the plus and the humorous minus with this, that sometimes the magician types in our life can be a little bit, have you seen what I can do recently? You know, that kind of feeling. And again, we have the sunrise, the yellow and the bluish colours as well, the energies of the solar plexus and the communicative throat chakra. So these are a couple of the cards. I'll quickly go through this one again. In this deck, the Animals Divine, as I showed you briefly a minute ago, is the raven's got his wing up in the air, and he's got his reflection is Odin in the water. So one of Odin's ravens, who represented his thoughts and his memories. He had a raven that represented thoughts and memory, and also Odin divined the runes from a reflection, so it's a very reflective energy there. But he's a cheeky raven, and he's taken the wisdom of Odin. The card says Messenger of Magic, and Messenger of Magic, showing you that maybe in everyday sightings of a raven, we'll be lucky to see a raven every day, but you know what I mean, we get hints of the divine, and that messages come through to us in these ways, and things may not be quite what they seem. So that was a little quick tour around the magician. There is so much more to say. I mean, we'll go back to the Thoth, because this card alone, I mean, just look at all the energy, the angles, the way it's, the energy that's kind of shooting out all over the place. It's like the structure of the universe, but it's very much the energy being brought down. He's flying. Everything about him is elevated and quick and light. There's no heaviness with this. There's no, all this wisdom is such a burden, because it's not so much about wisdom. It's more about, wow, I am channeling this stuff. And the ego is not a bad thing. The ego is what initiates us to do a lot of things in life. As long as obviously it's something that needs to be balanced, like everything else in life. So the active principle of the magician brings in creative new energy in your life. Again, with the Mercury, ruled by Mercury, it can represent with communications coming into your life. It can represent, as I said before, interviews, new skills, travel, or there could be a magician-like person around you. And this could be, as I said, some really insightful, light and inspiring energy coming in with these ideas and creating new things in your life. Or it could be someone who's like, you know, pulling coins from behind your ears and maybe smokes and mirrors a little bit. There's a lot more to say about the magician, but I think for now that's a nice start. That's a nice space to get thinking about the magician with. So the magician works with magic, and something to think about when you're connecting with the magician is, how do you channel magic in your life? What is magic in your life? What is magic for you? What is it playing tricks, or is it the force that flows through life? Or is it something that you're creating? Have a think, maybe meditate on the magician card and see what magic and manifestation means to you. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. There's lots more tarot and tea videos on my channel if you want to go and have a little look. And remember, do check out my website, which information is down below, for your own personal one-on-one readings. I've been doing this for many years now, and I do email readings, readings via Skype and telephone, and yeah, face-to-face readings too. As I mentioned before, I'm now offering one-on-one training via Skype with the tarot, so your own needs get catered for, and I'm also going to be releasing email courses too. So thank you. If you haven't already, subscribed and share with your friends. Have a lovely day. Take care.